Thinking about career growth? Join Asian Center of Entrepreneurship and Real Estate today. Learn more about decision making, essentials of business, improve marketing performance, develop crucial communication skills, and more. Join ASRE today and get a chance to be mentored by the best professionals in the country. Unlock the entrepreneurship inside you. Learn from the experts. Contact us at 0969-557-7017 or email us at ace.reasia@gmail.com. Thinking about career growth? Join Asian Center of Entrepreneurship and Real Estate today. Learn more about decision making, essentials of business, improve marketing performance, develop crucial communication skills, and more. Join ASRE today and get a chance to be mentored by the best professionals in the country. Unlock the entrepreneurship inside you. Learn from the experts. Contact us at 0969-557-7017 or email us at ace.reasia@gmail.com.
President of CREBA, or the Chambers of
Sinusubukan, ASRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo. ASRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay maasenso. Tara na, dito tayo. ASRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay maasenso. Ang iyong pangarap, gustong alasap, dapat kang magsikap para sa hinaharap. Bakit di mo subukan? ASRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo. ASRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso. Tara na, dito tayo. ASRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso. Ang hanap mo ay institusyong nagtuturo paano makatutungo buhay na gusto mo. Bakit di mo subukan? ASRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo. ASRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso.
Let's all welcome our host, Dr. Eduardo G. Ong, MBA, JD, PhD, DPA, DBA. He is a highly respected real estate professional, educator, and mentor. He holds a PRC license number 001 for real estate broker, appraiser, and consultant. He is the first chairman of Professional Regulatory Board of Real Estate Service. Currently, he is the Dean of College of Real Estate Management of Lyceum of Alabang. Please welcome PRC Outstanding Professional, Doc EG.
Good morning, real estate. Welcome to the 156th episode, season 13 of your favorite program, YouTube program, It's Doc EG Live, Usapang Lupa at Negosyo, where everything and anything about real estate are discussed and mentored by the different, well, and qualified, highly qualified professors and mentors to teach us on how really to do and to succeed in business and entrepreneurship. Christmas is a joyful season. We all know that it is a time for merrymaking, a time of joy, a time of meeting people and enjoying parties and the like. You know, since December 1, I've been attending Christmas parties every night. So much so that my doctor advised me not to eat too much, especially lechon, because, you know, if December is the season for merrymaking and for Christmas and the holidays and New Year, January is the season of hospitalization. So therefore, you should be careful. Okay. Now, I'm so happy to be back again in our episode 156, because today it is our Christmas episode. And I have requested some of our well-meaning practitioners and professionals to give us their Christmas messages. And we are full of so many exciting information and exciting episodes that are upon us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Christmas presentation of It's Doc EG Live, Usapang Lupa at Negosyo. Yan. Okay, so to start with, allow me to tell you that the last quarter of 2023 has been very kind to me or to your host. it is when I receive at least three accolades or three recognition from different organizations like I received the Asian Icon Award for as a real estate professional and the Asian Pinnacle Award as a real estate educator. And I'm so happy to receive also from the Philippine Association of Professional Regulatory Board Members a leadership award of Leadership and Professionalism Award, being one of the past presidents of the long years of existence of PAP-RB, which is under the control of the Professional Regulation Commission. But always remember that in our joy, in our happiness, in our celebration of Christmas, let us all remember that we are celebrating the birth of Christ. Christ is the meaning. Christ is the ultimate Savior. Christ is what Christmas is all about. Let us not forget our devotion to the Lord, that we should be given enough strength and enough time and opportunities, good health, so that we can face the challenges of 2024. Let me greet initially my my friends from the industry, especially the officers and members of the Philippine Federation of Real Estate Service Professionals, headed by our chairman emeritus, Mr. Florentino S. Dulalia Jr., and also our vice chairman, si Attorney Michael Limosnero. And of course, our president, our national president of PRESP, we have Madam Gigi Roa, and and of course, our executive vice president, si Madam Melinda Lit, who just came from a sojourn in the United States. Talagang kwampayan. At bagong-bago galing sa abroad, nagbakasyon. And of course, Ray Lim, Glory C, and the other national members or national board and members of PRESP. Likewise, let me also greet my other organization, the World President, the Federation, PFC World, no? And the Federation of Real Estate Service Professionals all over 70 countries. And in the Philippines, PFC Philippines, headed by our president, Architect Nestor Mangio, and our chairman of the board, si Dr. Regis Romero, and and also the national members, no, si John Lizares, si Manuel Rose, Lito Rausa, and the others. Let me pala congratulate Lito Rausa for his election as the first vice president of the exchange committee of PFC World, which held their national convention leadership convention and summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on December 7. I was also very fortunate that I was elected in absentia president of the Education and Academic Members Committee of the PFC World to serve starting June 2024 for 2 years and up to 2026. And so thank you, PFC World, for giving me or bestowing me that kind of recognition. By the way, the Angsusi Award were given to PRESP and to PFC. That means to say, to show that these two organizations in tandem are producing quality, should I say, quality practitioners and professionals. As a testimony, let me congratulate Robert, Marie, Bobby C, for being elected or being bestowed upon as the outstanding professional for 2023 of the Professional Regulation Commission in Real Estate Service. Congratulations, Bobby. And also, let me greet Dr. Regis Romero, and of course, ang boss namin, si Architect Mangyo, and most importantly, the Vice Chairman of the PCAAE. It is an association of associations in the Philippines, headed by Bobby Peralta and Gwen Albarazin, and also our Vice Chairman is none other than the former World President June Florentino S. Dulalia Jr. Also, let me greet for a while the my school, my venerable academic institution, and that is the Lyceum of Alabang, headed by Dr. Ayap, Danilo Viterbo Ayap, and of course the Ayap family, and Dr. Lea Digo, and also Ann Villarreal, and Ann Jade Kimoy, and also Okay, sorry, I've lost connection. I think that is the peril, sometimes the hazards of the internet. Once in a while, you lost connectivity. But anyway, let me continue by saying that well, that all of the people that join me or have been with me in my journey through life in 2023. I would like to greet you all Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, including my two sons, Raymond Edward Ong and also Edward Ong Jr. Yeah, no? Okay. My big boss, si Sergio Ortiz Luis Jr. of the Philippine Exporters Confederation President, and the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, and the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. To all of you, Merry Christmas. Later on, I'll greet you. Nga pala, si Sir Moby, Arquista, and Dailin sent their greetings just now, and we'll try to incorporate it as we go on in the later portion of our program. Ayan. So now, talagang masaya. Ang dami kong babatiin. I have so many people to greet, but time is very short. So let us just go direct to the first segment of our episode, and that is the featured question of the week.
Featured question of the week. On January 2023, I attended a seminar and got my certificate from LP Cereb. Then I filed my accreditation permit to the PRC with the signature of my licensed real estate broker. But up to now, I haven't received my salesperson ID. I wonder what the reasons of delay are. Can you help me, Doc EG?
You are not the only person that asked me some assistance on what I can do to facilitate the granting of your accreditation permit from PRC. You all know that I was PRB Res chairperson for 8 years. And during my time, it took us maybe about 3 months, no? 3 months or little bit more to get your accreditation permit from PRC under a licensed real estate broker. However, lately, because I think there's so many who are interested to get accreditation as a licensed, as an accredited salesperson, time has gotten them. In other words, humaba. And you all know that PRC is administering 46 regulated professions, no? 46. And so therefore, talagang each of them have their own needs. So that's why inabot ata, it now has reached to about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months before it is released. But just the same, be patient and you will get it. And as a matter of fact, some people, they told me, Sir, Doc EG, my permit is already expired. I still haven't gotten my accreditation permit. I filed it in 2022. Up to now, I have not gotten it. I said that I would like to apologize on behalf of PRC and PRB Res. And hopefully, I think I'll try to check on it, check on your plea, and see what I can do in order to fast track or to facilitate the granting of your accreditation permit that you can use in your sojourn, that you can use in your work, as an accredited real estate sales person. Intay-intay lang, ha? At anyway, enjoy the season. Okay. Now, we move on now to the second segment of our episode 156, and that is the featured practitioner of the week. And that is none other than Mindy Lapuz.
Hi everyone, my name is Mindy Lapuz, one of the Associate Sales Directors in SMBC. Thank you for having me here again, Ninong. Salamat sa pag-invite sa akin dito. And welcome po sa Doc EG Live. Ayan. So, ang topic po natin for today is how to be successful po. Paano po ba magiging successful ang marketing natin sa project selling? So, ayan po, I'm representing SMDC po. I'm just gonna share my screen and my presentation. So, ito po yung topic natin, Success in Real Estate Marketing through Project Selling. And magandang topic po ito para dun sa mga newly passed brokers natin. So, congratulations po sa mga kakapasa lang ng board exam. And ayun nga po, maganda po mag-start ng project selling since ito po yung pinakamadali sa real estate. Ano nga po ba ang project selling? So what is project selling? It is when you sell properties of developers like a new condo, subdivision, or some other large newly launched realty projects. So, isa po sa example ng project selling is yung mga projects na binibenta ni SMDC. Mga pre-selling projects po, yan po. So, madami po tayo niyan na inventory kay SMDC. We have condominiums, we have house and lot, mga eco homes. So, ayan po. So, ayan po yung mga example ng project selling. And then, of course, if you will start project selling, you have to choose a reputable developer. So, kilala po ba yung developer na yan? Meron na po ba track record? May napatunayan na ba? Nag-turnover ba yan ng units sa mga kliyente? So, ayun po, importante po na piliin natin yung mga reputable developer. And then, of course, number 2, importante din po na meron tayong maibibenta. Kailangan po meron pong inventory. So, kay SMDC po, madami po tayong inventory. So, we have over 60 plus projects and we will still launch more mga projects soon. So, antabayanan niyo po yan. Madami po tayong maibibenta sa SMDC. And number 3, importante din po sa ating mga brokers yung mga marketing materials. And then, dun din po sa mga aspiring real estate salesperson. So, sa mga accredited brokers po natin, meron na po kayong access sa marketing materials online. So, lahat po ay available online, pati inventory. So, meron po tayong portal for sellers na pwede nyong i-track kung ano po yung mga available na projects natin. And then, for our SMDC Pro, nandun po yung mga videos, project images, mga unit details, ganun na rin po yung mga virtual tour na magagamit natin para makaklose tayo ng sale sa ating mga kliyente. And of course, importante din po ma-rewardan ang hard work natin sa pagbebenta ng projects. So, number 4 po, kailangan po mag-check natin yung commission rates and incentive programs. Kung nagre-release ba yan ng commission, kung paano po ba yung commission scheme. Siyempre, para madali din po natin maintindihan paano po natin ibibigay sa mga salesperson natin yung commission nila. And then number 5, of course, sa brokers network support. Sa ating mga brokers, importante po na meron tayong support from the developer. So kagaya ko po, I'm one of the ASDs in the local brokers network. So what we do is we give full support to our accredited brokers na we do the presentation, we do the closing, we provide all the materials needed for closing a sale, and also yun po mga training programs na meron tayo available monthly para po sa mga brokers natin and salesperson. Yan po, importante po yun. And for my next slide, bakit po SMDC? Please watch this.
SM Investments Corporation is in the best position to take advantage of the booming Philippine economy. It is a leading Philippine company that has invested in market-leading businesses in retail, banking, and property. It is the largest and first Philippine conglomerate to breach the 1 trillion peso in market capitalization. SM Prime's residential property arm, SMDC, has a strong retail heritage, and it has a significant land bank in key locations, not just in Metro Manila, but across the Philippines, and most of these properties will be developed into residential projects to serve the housing backlog. The company commits itself to provide access to luxurious urban living through vertical villages perfectly integrated with a commercial retail environment, giving its residents access to a truly cosmopolitan lifestyle. This commitment has driven SMDC, in just 14 years, to launch over 51 projects, sell over 160,000 units and deliver over 65,000 units to happy homeowners. SMDC's winning business plan? Making aspirational communities more affordable to many Filipinos. The company develops homes that attract customers looking for conveniently located, aspirational, yet affordable homes. Our customer focus helped us develop a business model that aims to deliver the fastest in the sector. The secret to our success? We call it SMDC's 5 key success factors. First, SMDC projects are always in prime locations with superior accessibility, with a transport hub within the complex, located near malls, within all very near central business districts and school hubs. Second, the residential projects are integrated within mall complexes, or are built to have its own commercial area. This provides access to daily conveniences and a wide selection of entertainment and dining options. Third, the condominiums are fitted with hotel-like lobbies, giving a grand welcome every day to residents and their guests. Fourth, SMDC always provides resort-styled amenities designed to give utmost relaxation to residents. And lastly, a professional property manager is on hand to provide a hassle-free and convenient. GPMC is organized to satisfy the specialized requirements of large-scope residential developments to address the very aspiration of every homeowner that results in the enhancement of his property's value, that ensures that investments appreciate through time and lasts for generations. Because of these key success factors, SMDC has shown a 214% growth rate, the highest compared to its competitor in the Bay Area. Still from milieu property consultants, sharing the different projects in the Makati area, Air Residences has shown a 257% growth rate, still the highest as compared to all its competitors.
Ayan po, talagang napakaganda po ng mga projects natin kay SMDC. At talaga naman po na hindi tayo mawawalan ng benta kasi ang dami po natin ni-launch na project na bago. And ayun nga po, we have the 5 key to success in SMDC. And kaya naman po pinagkakatiwalaan din tayo kasi nakapag-deliver na po tayo ng 160,000 units sa ating mga happy owners. So ayan po ang dahilan bakit po SMDC ang ibebenta natin. And then, after po nitong video nito, bakit naman po sa Pilipinas mag-i-invest? So why invest in the Philippines? Number 1, because Philippines is isa po siya sa mga fastest growing economies in Asia. Booming Philippine economy po with GDP 6.2% in 2023. So mataas po siya. Ibig sabihin maganda ang ekonomiya natin dito sa Pilipinas. Lalo na po, ayun nga po, yung mga developments po kasi na nagaganap sa ating sa mga roads. So isa din po yun sa factor and sa mga trabaho din po dito sa Philippines. Number 2, high demand for housing. So, yung mga mid-income earners ay ngayon open na. Ganun na rin po yung mga millennials to invest sa mga properties. So usually po, kumukuha po ng property or bumibili ng property sa mga key districts or sa mga central business district para po accessible sa work. And then number 3, good rental yield. Dahil po mataas ang demand sa housing natin, nag-create po to ng healthy rental income potential for our property owners. Lalo na po dun sa mga Airbnb. Di ba po nababalitaan niyo po si SMBC is very famous for Airbnb kasi po maganda po yung location natin. Ang tatandaan niyo po lagi for selling properties or for investing is yung location. Lagi po yung tignan location. So lahat po na SMBC projects natin ay located in a prime location. Kaya po maganda din yung rental yield natin. And then number 4, reach attention from foreign investors. So mga foreigners po, madami po nag-i-invest dito, specifically po sa mga Chinese na madami pong bumili ng properties nila dito for investment or business requirements. So, and then ayun po, number 5 naman po is future developments in the metro. So, madami po tayo mga transportation system na dinidevelop. So, if you're, kung nanggaling na po kayo sa Singapore, kung familiar po kayo sa railway system ng Singapore, magiging ganun na rin po dito sa atin. And ang kagandahan nga po, madami na pong bridges na tayo connecting one city to another. So, very accessible na po yung mga CBD area natin dito sa Philippines. So, ayun po yung mga reasons bakit tayo mag-i-invest dito sa Philippines. And then, tignan po natin kung ano po ba yung real estate market and this historical investment data. So, dito po, compare po natin yung within Asia. So, ang source po natin dito is globalpropertyguide.com. So, pwede nyo po tignan doon yung statistics natin. So, sa Philippines po kasi, kung titignan nyo po, ang average property prices in Asia, in terms of square meters, pinakamahal po si Hong Kong na nag-range po siya ng $28,570 per square meters. And then sa Philippines po, mababa lang po yung sa atin. Nasa average po ng properties in CBD area, nasa 3,952 square meters po sa Philippines. So, di ba po, sa Philippines, mura pa po mag-invest ng property dito. And then tignan naman po natin yung average rental yield natin in Asia in terms of percentage. So pinakamataas po na rental yield is Indonesia. So madali pong maparentahan yung mga properties in Indonesia, nasa 7.09% po sila. So pangalawa po ang Philippines, nasa 6.13% tayo sa rental yield. So kung titignan niyo po yung price po natin in Asia and then yung rental yield mataas. So kahit pumura dito sa bansa natin, ibig sabihin mataas pa rin yung rental yield. Madami pa rin nag-renta. And compared to other countries in Asia. And then next naman po, tingnan natin yung average price change in Asia. 10 years po ito. So ang pangatlo po, ang Pilipinas sa mabilis mag-change ng price. Ibig sabihin, mabilis po mag-appreciate yung price natin dito sa Philippines. So sa real estate. So 96.99% po tayo. Pangatlo po tayo sa India and Hong Kong. So, ayan nga po, kung titignan nyo po itong mga graph na to, mura lang po dito ang per square meters, mataas ang rental yield, and mabilis po mag-increase or mag-appreciate ang value ng property dito sa Pilipinas. So, ito po, pwede po natin ito pakita sa ating mga investors kung meron po kayong mga gustong presentan. Ayan. And then, dahil natakil na po natin yung statistics ng real estate, kung bakit mag-invest SMBC or bakit ibebenta SMBC, bakit sa Philippines mag-invest and yung data natin. Ito naman po, paano po ba tayo mag-start sa project selling? Strategic way ng project selling. So, ano po ba yung mga dapat natin gawin? Sa ating mga real estate brokers, syempre, importante po talaga yung numbers. So, we have to recruit salesperson. So, since meron po tayong 20 slots for salesperson, maganda po talaga, ay highly encouraged po na mag-recruit po kayo ng mga salespersons nyo. And then, syempre, we have to conduct trainings and seminars para po dun sa salesperson natin, and hanggang sa pag matuto na po sila sa trainings and seminar, mag-prospecting and selling na po. And importante po, habang nandun pa po kayo sa stage ng training and seminars, meron na po kayong listahan ng mga prospect buyers nyo para ang susunod na lang po is presentation and closing. So ito po ay talagang ini-encourage talaga namin na mag-recruit kayo ng mga salespersons and i-register po natin sila sa PRC. So ayan po. And then, next slide po. So, paano po ba tayo magpa-prospect ng client? So, number 1 po, lahat po ng mga K dito, mga KKK, mga kaibigan, kaklase, katrabaho, mag-anak. So, lahat po ng mga kilala nyong KKK, dyan po yan. So, unahin nyo po muna yung mga kakilala nyo. So, gawa nga po kayo ng listahan, di ba? Kagaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, gawa po kayo ng listahan, sino po ba yung mga prospect buyers nyo, and kung ano po ba yung project na match para sa kanila. Then, pag naubos na po yung kakilala natin, syempre hindi naman po ganun kadami din yung mga kakilala natin, nauubos din po talaga yan. So, yung mga previous buyers natin or mga kakilala natin, kung hindi man sila bumili, mag-ask po tayo ng referral sa kanila. So, ayun po, kasi hindi naman po lahat ng kakilala natin bibili. So, pag hindi po bumili sa atin, hingi na lang po tayo ng referral. And then, pangatlo po is cold market. So, dito na po yung mga makikilala natin through ads, mga postings natin sa Facebook, sa marketplace, ayan, sa carousel, Lamudi. So, ayan na po. So, mauubos at mauubos din po talaga yung mga kakilala natin, yung mga referrals na kakilala natin. Kaya po, dapat hindi tayo nag-i-stop doon. Meron din po tayong prospecting ng cold market na, ayun nga po, kailangan natin mag-ads po, like sa Facebook ads or Facebook Marketplace, Instagram, lahat po ng social media, pasukin po natin para po makapag-ads po tayo ng projects natin. So, ayan po sa prospecting. And next, so ayan po, alam nyo na po kung sino po yung mga target market nyo. I-share lang po din namin sa inyo kung ano po ba yung mga projects na available po sa atin. So, dito po sa SMBC, ito po yung some of our projects. Meron po tayong projects in Santa Rosa, Laguna, near po ng Enchanted Kingdom. So, classification po niya is mid-rise building. Ang reservation fee po is murang-mura lang po. Pupurot lang po tayo ng 20,000 pesos. And ang magiging monthly investment po natin na nakastretch yung down payment. So, SMBC po pala, wala po tayong spot down payment sa mga pre-selling projects natin. So, very affordable po para sa mga buyers natin ang project na to. So, for Calm Residences, meron po tayong 7,700 plus per month po na nakastretch po yan. And then next, we have Light 2 Residences. This is located in EDSA Boni MRT Station. This is one of my favorite projects. Napakaganda po nitong project na to. Kung nakita niyo po yung Light 1, meron po tayong Light Mall sa ilalim na may 2-level mall. Si Light 2, hindi po siya nagpatalo. 3-level mall po si Light 2. And ayun nga po, ang kagandahan po dito, yung accessibility ng place, walking distance to MRT station, and meron po siyang bridgeway connecting to MRT station. So, for the reservation fee, for as low as po na 30,000 pesos, and then monthly amortization of 13,000 per month plus. Yan po. And then, next project po natin is Ice Tower. This is our one of our residential offices project. So, located po siya in Mall of Asia. Katapat lang po siya ng Globe. And ayun nga po, meron pong option si buyer natin na kung gusto ba nila itong gawing residential or office. And the reservation fee is 30,000 pesos, and yung monthly investment po natin or monthly amortization will be 28,400 plus. And then lastly, Fame Residences. This is located in Mandaluyong also. EDSA Mandaluyong. High-rise building po ito. And then reservation fee po is 30,000 pesos. And this one naman po is ready for occupancy na po siya. But we're still offering pre-selling payment terms. So dito po sa slide na to, nakalagay po dito is 29,800 plus. This is a pre-selling payment term. So ayan po yung mga projects natin. Once nakapag-prospecting na tayo, we can offer the projects that will fit their budget po. And next naman po, paano po ba natin gagawin yung business sa SMBC or any developer naman po? This is the quadrant way of doing business. So, kunwari po sa week 1, meron kang 5 million na benta. Week 2, 5 million din. Diba? Madami kang buyers na-offeran mo, nakinig ka nitong seminar na to. And then week 3, meron ka na naman buyer na 5 million. And then week 4, may 3 million ka. So, kahit tigi isang 5 million lang or 3 million per week, napakaganda na po yan sa negosyo nyo. So, this is just a conservative amount po. Yung nilagay ko dito na amount, hindi po ito yung exact commission. But let's just see kung paano po yung potential income natin kung gagawin nating side hustle ang real estate. Let's say we're a salesperson and this is the rate na ibibigay sa atin ng ating brokers. For brokers, message nyo ako kung magkano yung commission nyo. So, ayan, for example, for the past 3 weeks, you have 5 million close sale, di ba? So, let's say na conservative amount lang tong 100,000 per week na commission nyo until maging commissionable na yung account nyo. And then 3 million the 4th week, may 60,000 ka. Meron tayong total sales na 18 million per month. So, di ba po, 360,000, hindi na po masamang income yan. So, gaya nga po na sinabi ko kanina, hindi nyo po gagawin mag-isa tong business na to. Tutulungan po namin kayo mag-close ng sale dito. And, ayun nga po, full support po kami. Di ba po, sa real estate, itong amount na to is maganda na po. Dahil meron na po kayo assistance, and ayan nga po, meron pa kayong i-expect na income once commissionable na po siya. Di ba, napakaganda po talaga nitong program na to. Kaya talagang ini-encourage din po namin na magbenta ng project selling ang mga brokers natin kasi meron po kayong may expect na commission. And next, meron po tayong other services po ng other service ng SMBC, we call it Prime Key. So, let's say napabili na natin yung mga clients natin ng condominium and nasa abroad sila, then malayo din po sa location nyo. Paano po ba nila i-manage yung Airbnb nila or business nila rental? So, we have Prime Key. So, maganda po sa SMBC, pwede na pong gawing in-house yan. Si SMBC na po bahala dun sa mga contract, on-leasing, long-term, short-term. Ayan po, pwede po nating ilapit kay Prime Key yung mga properties na hindi natin ma-manage as brokers kasi malayo din sa atin, and then if yung mga clients din natin nasa abroad. So, pwedeng gawin po itong option ng mga client natin. And next, ano po ba yung mga requirements natin para po makapag-avail ng property sa SMBC? So, madali lang po yung requirements natin sa SMBC. 4 lang po yan. So, first is filled out reservation forms, and then 2 valid IDs. Number 3, proof of PIN form 1904 or PIN ID. And then lastly, reservation fee payment. So, ayan lang po yung mga requirements natin. Napakadali lang po. And dito nga po sa SMBC, kahit nga po sa Messenger, kaya po natin i-close yung sale kasi nga po kilalang na si SMBC. Mag-send lang po tayo ng materials, virtual tour sa ating mga prospective clients. Kayang-kaya na natin i-close doon. And mag-send lang po tayo ng sample computation. So, ganun po yung mga ginagawa natin sa project selling. And then, ayan lang po yung presentation ko. My name is Mindy Lapuz po, one of the Associate Sales Directors. So, nasa Local Brokers Network po kami. So, if ever you want to be accredited in SMBC, kung hindi pa po kayo accredited, tamang-tama umattend po kayo dito. I-accredit ko po kayo, and then ang team na po namin ang bahala sa inyo. Tutulungan po namin kayo dito sa negosyo na to. And meron nga po kaming kasabihan dito na you cannot sell garbage twice. So, dito po sa SMBC, kung hindi po maganda ang projects natin, hindi po siya magbebenta at hindi po ulit nabibili ang mga investors natin. So, ayan lang po. Thank you so much for having me here and have a great day, everyone. Bye po.
Wow! Thank you! Thank you, Mindy. Inaano ko yung si Mindy. For your information, we are also accredited with SMDC. Just in case in your real estate needs, for example, SMDC, just call on us. Okay. By the way, let me greet our viewers now. Dami natin viewers. Joy Lariosa from Bicol. Si Glory Marisi, yung idol ko, na taga Baguio, taga the incoming president of Pasay Makati Realty Board. Si Glory Marisi. Alam mo, itong babaeng to ay very energetic. Nanonood to sa atin ngayon. At ngayon, makita mo, now you see, now you hear, now you don't. Actually, ngayon, nasa dito siya sa Manila. Bukas, nasa Ilocos. Sa Makalawa, nasa Mindanao. Nasa Palawan, kung saan-saan. She is a very energetic and a very talented woman. I wish you the best. Glory Marie C., President, PMRB. So, ang aking kapitbahay, si Irene Opresio is here. Ay, naku, Irene. Ito ang number 1 broker sa BF Homes. Si Dory de Villa Medina. Hi, Dory. And also, Lori. Si Lori has been also, I think one of our students, no? Si Lori is now doing good in real estate. Hi, Lori. And also, Moby. My dear friend, Moby Arquisa and Dailin Arquisa are also in the house. My goodness. G. Aquino. G. Luisa Asihil. Karen Yu, also one of our students. And Stella Tupas. Alam, si Stella, ikaw mag-MC, ha? At saka, let me also greet the municipal and city assessors of Laguna, headed by Assessor Abet Arellano. Yan po. I was very fortunate to be invited last week in Laguna to induct the officers of the city and municipal assessors of Laguna. Talagang magaling yan. Kaya, hi Abet, Merry Christmas to all of you. But before I forget, let me greet si Consul Yunina Mangio, the incoming president of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also been inducted 2 days ago by the PCAAE as a lifetime honorary member of the Association of Associations in the Philippines. Yan, ha? And before I forget, let me also greet again. Hey. Happy birthday to my director in all of the HRE activities, Miss Ellen Supangan Lee. Hi, Ellen. Happy birthday. Yan. Birthday niya kahapon. Blowout siya. Now, let's move on to Info Bits.
Infobits, brought to you by Doc EG Live. Did you know that cross-border cooperation is a form of international cooperation, the main purpose of which is to remove restrictions arising from the existence of national borders. It embraces a wide range of international activities of governments and activities of local authorities at regional and local level. The aim of this cooperation is to fight stereotypes and prejudices on both sides of the border and to overcome the social, economic, infrastructural, and cultural barriers created by national borders. Cross-border and inter-regional cooperation strengthens good neighborly relations between countries, guarantees stability, and ensures partnership and sustainable socio-economic development.
Okay, since our main agendum for today is cross-border communication and networking, I have invited a very good friend from Singapore who used to be my graduate school student in at the Colegio de San Juan de Letran Graduate School. And I've known him for I think long time, maybe about 3-4 years. Wherever I go to Singapore or wherever he goes to Manila, we see each other. And now I'm so happy that this gentleman is still in the academic circle in Singapore. He's right now an academic director of AMITY Institute of Singapore, and would be discussing with us today how cross-border networking and communication happens. All right, hi. And how are you? Mute. You're mute.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay,
Okay,
now
thank
I'm
you. Hi,
unmuted.
hi. Hello, Adrian. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be our resource person for today.
Dr. EG, thank you very much. It's such an honor to be here. I understand that many of your students from Center for Entrepreneurship and Real Estate are also here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Now,
I know that. What have you been doing in Singapore now? How's Singapore now?
Singapore is doing better. Economy is picking up. More people are coming in. I think one of the things which, of course, you guys will definitely know is that the price of properties going up higher and higher. Yeah. And one of the latest news about property was yesterday, the Singapore government decided to make it easier for people to rent houses here because property is very expensive. Before, there are regulations to say that one private, let's say, apartment can only have 10 people in there. Yesterday, they changed the rules to make it 10. So basically, if you can have more people staying in one particular apartment, therefore, per person, the rental comes down. So,
Oh,
so this is good
oh.
for property owners. Yeah.
So it's
So
going to
this,
be very exciting in Singapore, huh? I
yeah,
think
things are happening. Yeah.
I'll be in Singapore in May, and maybe we can do something in May, uh, as we go and travel to attend the PEPC Leadership Summit in Singapore.
Yeah, in fact, I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that we can do something together. Maybe you can bring your students to our side, and we can do some kind of cooperation to give them exposure to not only just the real estate business, but generally speaking about Singapore and the opportunities in Singapore, and vice versa, for them to come here and to Singapore, and which I share a little bit about opportunities for them to sell in Singapore your properties in Malaysia, which I think earlier Mindy did a fantastic job about, although I didn't understand every single word because part of it is in Tagalog. But I think she shared. I think what's important was point number 4, which is very nice.
Adrian Raj Angappan has been a very good friend of mine since long time ago, right? When you
I
were
think about
still
actually I
with
think
the
about maybe
Colegio.
7 years. 7 years maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
Colegio de San Juan de Letran, isn't it? Where he took his PhD in business in Colegio. And Adrian, whenever I go to Singapore, we always meet and try to look at the local cuisine and see what
That's
we
true.
can do
Yes,
together.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this time we are gonna do business on cross-border networking and communication. I understand you have a very interesting presentation.
Okay, I must say my presentation is very academia in
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, okay.
So I know that you have lots of practitioners here, but I thought that this would be good for even for practitioners to revisit some basic theories, which will be good for them as they try to do business across borders. Because I believe even your center is called Asia Center for Entrepreneurship and Real Estate. It's not Philippine Center, it's Asia. So we're talking about global. So I think it's important to understand cross-cultural communication a little bit better. So I'll just share a little bit more for those who
Okay,
do
you can
not.
proceed, Adrian.
Yeah. So now, my maybe we can go to second slide here. In there, you'll see. Yeah. Now that's I'm working right now for AMITY Global Institute. I'm there as an academic director. Prior to this, I've been in regional. I won't say regional. I was in regional sales for about more than 20 years, and in one of my visits, I was in Philippines, based there for a while, and I got involved with Rotary, and one thing led to another. And basically, they asked me whether I can help teach in one of the universities there. To be more specific, it was in Mindanao. It was in Davao. It's Ateneo de Davao. So I taught in Ateneo de Davao. And prior to that, I was doing regional sales. So when I went to in Davao University, I realized I actually enjoy teaching. So that's when I switched from business into academia. So I've been in academia for about 15 years or so now. And so, and my passion is to impart, right? Not just, knowledge, but to give students a holistic perspective. That's what's very close to my heart. And that's the reason why when Dr. EG said, "Hey, Adrian, can you share a little bit?" I said, definitely I would, but having said that, I must say there's very, some of what I'm going to share is very academic in nature, but it's always good to revisit. Yeah, maybe we can go to the second slide. Okay, this is just a little bit about me. I'm just move on. One thing I want to just say is that I've been, traveling. I did a count. I visited like 42 different countries, and so I have quite a good understanding of different cultures and communication where it's concerned. Now, today, we're going to talk more on, the intention was to talk about Singapore and Philippines. So I just did a little bit of an overview of what our relationship is right now between Singapore and Philippines. I'm not sure whether you all can read the slide, but what is important is that Singapore and Philippines has been having a very, very good relationship since 1969. We are a very young country. In 1965, we became independent. And so, Philippines was one of the countries that we decided to work with. Now, what is important is that, when I was in Davao, your then President Duterte was a mayor then. So I realized, which struck me the most, is that how, even in Davao, they adopted many of the Singapore's way of governing, way of managing. For example, one of the first things that I was very happy about is that it was very clean, right? And also no arms allowed, no guns allowed, right? So which made me as a foreigner feel very comfortable. Yeah. So maybe move on to the next slide, right? Now in this second slide, you'll see how many, all the different kind of, businesses that we have done in Singapore, the kind of, the volume, we are the fifth largest trading partner, all right? And, for Philippines or all that. Now, these are just information to give you about the relationship between Singapore and Indonesia, Philippines, right? Now, of course, in COVID-19 pandemic hit Singapore and things took a turn for the worse. And, a lot of people stopped traveling. But right now, everybody's what they call revenge traveling. Everybody wants to travel quite a bit. And even in as early as, April 2020, we did another Philippine camp in Singapore. We basically did another trade agreement to improve our relationship. Now, what's most important in the next slide? Can we go to the next slide? Now, here is some information which I think will be quite interesting based on what Mindy shared earlier. It is you guys would know that there are about 200,000 Filipinos working in Singapore. The assumption is that most of them come to Singapore to take on a lower paying salary job. But the fact of the matter is that what I'm showing you is actual data. Actually, 60% of Filipinos in Singapore are actually professionals and skilled workers. So in other words, they make quite a good sum of money. So why I'm mentioning this to you is that they have money. So of course, that means they can buy. In your case, most of you guys in real estate, they can buy property from. With the money they earn from Singapore, they can buy property in Philippines. Now, what's interesting, I'm just saying this from my actual interaction with some of the people who are working in a lower income jobs. Even with a lower income, they're able to repatriate the money back to Philippines and buy properties, and some of them have started businesses while they're still holding on to low income jobs. But because the difference in exchange and the higher salaries in Singapore, this is something which will be interesting to all of you in the real estate business. Can we go to the next slide? Now, here is something which talks about communication and how communication is important. This is a particularly a link to a particular video. All right, it's not a video, but it's about how communication is important when we do business. Yeah, but it's a funny one. Let's listen to it.
One day I'm going to Malta to bigger hotel. In the morning I go down to eat a breakfast. I tell a waitress I want 2 pieces of toast. She brings me only 1 piece. I tell her I want 2 pieces. She say go to the toilet. I say you don't understand. I want to do piss on my plate. She say you better no piss on the plate, you son of a bitch. I don't even know the lady and she calling me a son of a bitch. Later, I go to eat at a bigger restaurant. The waitress brings me a spoon and a knife, but no fork. I tell her I want the fork. She telling me everyone you want a fork. I tell her you don't understand. I want a fork on the table. She say you better not fork on the table, you son of a bitch. So I go back to my room in a hotel, and there is no sheets on the bed. Call the manager and tell him I want a shit. He tell me to go to the toilet. I say, you don't understand. I want a shit on my bed. He say, you better not shit on my bed, you son of a bitch. I go to the checkout and the man at the desk say, peace on you. I say, peace on you too, you son of a bitch. I'm going back to Italia. I live.
Okay, now that was actually a short video. Why I showed that is because it's important that how we speak, our intonation, our language, all matters when we communicate across borders, right? So cross-cultural communication is very, very important. So I'm going to share. You found that funny, Dr. E.G.?
Yeah, very good. Very good. I like it.
I was not too sure whether it will be offensive, but I
No,
thought,
no, no, not at all. Not at all. Okay.
Okay. So now going on, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about cross-cultural communication itself. Let's move on to the next slide, right? Now we can just move fast forward a bit because I think we ate up quite a bit of time. Now, what is important about cross-cultural communication is basically culture. We all have different cultures, right? So culture is basically shaped by many different things. It is formed by our race, our ethnicity, our gender, the class, even our religion, our country of origin, and geographic region. This all matters, and all this forms our culture. I'm sure right now, I'm not too sure of the sentiments in Philippines, but here in Singapore, the sentiments towards the Palestine, Gaza, Israel issue, although it is seems supposed to be political, but the religion aspect of it has also come in. So a lot of people of different faith take different stands, right? If you're a Muslim, you take one stand. You're a Christian, you take another stand. You're a Jew, of course, you know where the stand is. But all this affects in how we communicate, and all goes back to culture. Can we go to the next slide? Now, again, when we talk about culture, there are differences in culture, and what causes the differences. Now, earlier I showed that particular rather funny video or slide, right? The main reason was not about what was said, but different communication style. The guy in Malta spoke differently from the guy from Italy who was visiting Malta. So they were saying the same thing, but they understood it differently. So the way you communicate your styles matters, right? And also the attitude towards conflicts. Different people respond to conflict differently. I know in Philippines, generally speaking, you are more, I would say, accepting. You are willing to compromise, right? Whereas Americans, they don't want to compromise. They want to show that they're better, right? So that also affects your culture because your attitude, right? And different approaches in completing tasks. Some just want to get the job done, regardless of what. Others, say, no, listen, for example, I'll just give a simple example, right? In America, right now, if you say it's 5 o'clock, you give the secretary a task at 4:30, she tell you, hey, it's going to be done, I'll do it tomorrow. But here in Singapore, if at 5 o'clock, all right, you're not even expected to leave your office. 6 o'clock, nobody leaves the office. Everybody leaves only much later. So you've got to do with you're completing your task first before you go home. Then there's also another thing which talks about decision-making styles. How do we make decisions? That also affects our cultural differences. Some make decisions collectively, all right? Some make individual decisions. Again, for example, in the Japanese culture, they always make decisions, collective decisions. It's never one person making decision. In America, it's often one person making decision. Again, that affects how we communicate. If we communicate as a group, then the way we talk is always we, all right? Whereas in America, it's me, I, myself, and that's it. So that affects how we communicate. So if you have somebody from a group collective communication talking to somebody from a solo, it will clash. So we need to understand different cultures to be able to communicate better. Then comes the attitude towards disclosure. Now, here in Singapore, we are very, very strong on PDPA. PDPA stands for Personal Data Protection Act. How much information can you reveal? In other cultures, they can, gossip is a favorite thing. That's the greatest pastime, right? You tell me something, I say, hey, don't tell anybody this. Then the person will say, hey, don't tell anybody this. And they just go on and on and on. So basically, the attitude towards disclosure also affects how you communicate. And also, the different approaches to knowing, how we know certain things also affects. Now, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Can we get the next slide? Now, here we talk about communication on speech patterns, language, and non-verbal as well as interactive. Earlier, we talked about the Italian guy. The talking style is important, but also what matters is how we communicate. Your language, using of your fingers, your gesture, your movement. Even right now when I'm talking, I'm doing a little bit of movement. Now, of course, I do that because I want to make an impact. So when you move your body a particular way, you actually impact. The communication gets better. So then interactive is when you try to make the other person, draw them out and make them talk to you. Right? Let's go to the next slide. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, now I know that I'm trying to cover as much as I can. I wish you guys I was in front of you, because I think the most important thing about communication is to be able to look somebody in the eye and talk, which I don't have the pleasure of doing, which I can't do right now. But nevertheless, cross-cultural communication, right, is a field of study that looks at how people from different cultures and background communicate. In similar or different ways among themselves, and how they try to get across culture. A lot of us know what the concept of communication. Communication basically is a message which is sent, and then it goes through a channel, and what is received. But what is sent is not always what is received. What is received is very much dependent on what the person is exposed to. So that is why it's very important to know what the person who is sending the message is trying to say. And the person who sends the message must also understand what kind of message the person is going to receive. So this is why cross-cultural communication is a deep study. I wish I can share more. Perhaps if you guys come to Singapore, we can discuss a little bit more, not on theoretical aspect, but application of cross-cultural communication. We will now move on to the next slide. And here, I mentioned earlier about how different aspects affects cross-cultural communication. Age is just one matter, all right? Customs, values, gender, the country you come from, and also the ethnicity. Now, here in Singapore, for those who've been to Singapore, you would know that we are kind of a mixed culture here. We have 70% Chinese, about 20% Malay, and 10% Indians. And of course, we have lots of Filipinos and people from Arab, from Caucasians. We have a close mix of them. And how we communicate often is dependent on what we have come from. Our age matters a lot, right? So I'm going on to the next slide. Now, here, it's important right now for you guys. I use particular size companies. It also applies to individuals to know that with global business right now, we are communication becoming even more complicated. So to understand how people communicate will help you how to get the business that you want. Now I'm going to talk a little about high context and low context cultures. non-verbal differences and power distance. These are all major issues. I'll just tell, because I did not prepare any slides on power distance, but which I know is very important. Now, power distance is basically defined as how people give a lot of weightage to somebody of high authority, right? Whereas in Singapore, it doesn't apply. Everybody seems to be equal. I know that in Philippines, perhaps if you are somebody of a certain stature, you're given a lot more importance, you're given priority, but not in Singapore. So you need to understand that also. So assuming you are of a person of a certain level in Philippines, when you come to Singapore, then you must understand that here everybody's treated equal. So it's important to understand what is power distance, right? Let's go to the next slide. Now, why is it important? Basically, when you understand, the power distance, you understand low culture, high context, low context, it helps you because it gives you business opportunities, because then you overcome the barriers that can be. And of course, when you talk about business opportunities, job opportunities as well, because you can, also consider maybe coming to work across the border. I'm not just saying in Singapore, but, across the way, you guys have a big advantage because you speak English, and, and right now, why is cross-cultural communication important is because of globalization. Even the school, like I mentioned earlier, is called Asia Center for Entrepreneurship and Real Estate, not Philippine Center, right? So we talk about globalization, right? And here it's also important about sharing of views and ideas. The reason why I do this right now is because I want to share with you guys about, what I have experienced over 42 different countries, right? And also what happens, right, is improving our talent, whatever talent that we have. And with that, we also try to improvise. Having your talent is one thing, but to improvise it to meet the particular need and also to understand diverse markets. So when you come to Singapore, you are doing not just one, like Japan, where everybody speaks the same language, everybody's the same. When you come to Singapore, you have different cultures, all combined into one. But despite that, we are the Singaporean culture, which is quite different from the Philippines culture. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I have maybe less than 20 minutes to go, but I'll just try to cover what is high versus low context culture. Now, high context culture that rely heavily on non-verbal communication in communication. For example, in North America, Europe, right? I say Western Europe because Eastern Europe is different from Western Europe, yeah, different cultures. Then we talk about low context culture, cultures that rely heavily on words to convey meaning in communication. I'll just use an example, right? For example, if you invite, let's say you're an American, okay? You invite a Japanese for a meal to your house. They would, you say, hey, Sunday, come over for lunch, right? So most of us who maybe are more exposed, who are actually from the high context culture, will understand when an American says lunch on Sunday, you probably want to go there, in your Bermudas, and maybe a t-shirt, and that's it, you're probably going to have a burger for lunch. But a Japanese who comes from a low context culture, for him, he would go further. He would ask, okay, what time is lunch? Because the fear for doing the wrong thing, what should be the dress code, right? What should they bring? So for them, it's important when you are speaking to Japanese, for example, you must communicate clearly what is needed, right? So whereas the American, which is high context culture, they know the culture and they act on the culture. So when we communicate, it's important. So I'm going to show the next slide, which features about different countries, right? Now you look right on top, Japanese, they want everything to be very clearly communicated with them. What time, what dress code, what food to wear, everything must be communicated. As you go down, it comes to the Germans and the Swiss, where it's very much understanding the culture and very little is communicated, right? Verbally or written format. So this is also important for us to understand, all right? And in Singapore, we are a mix, all right? There's a lot of understanding of culture, but we also want things to be clearly stated because of the kind of different cultures that we have in. So in Singapore, when we communicate, we'll keep our communication short, right? That's the funny thing about Singapore. We try to minimize our language. Later, I'm going to show a simple video on how Singaporeans basically communicate. All right, it's funny, but it'll be good for you to understand. We don't use long words; we use very short words here. So again, the communicate for that kind of communication is short, but when it comes to giving instructions, it's normally very, very clear. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now I'm doing verbal communication, which is what I'm doing right now. Now, verbal communication is not just about talking, all right? It's also the intonation. If you guys hear me right now, you would realize that for those who have been exposed to Singaporeans, you realize that I don't speak like a typical Singaporean. There's two reasons for that. One is because I travel extensively, and because of that, I need to be understood. So when you travel a lot, you guys also, especially in Philippines, you need to be mindful of how you communicate. Your tone needs to change, right? You cannot speak Taglish anymore, right? Naturally, right? You're trying to speak proper English. The same way for me, I speak the way I speak is because I am dealing with a wise, different nationalities. Now, on top of that, I became a teacher, I became a lecturer, I became a professor. When you become a professor, you also need to speak proper because you want your students to understand. So it's important when you talk about verbal communication, the use of sounds and words to express yourself. It's not just words, it's the intonation, how you speak, right? So you need to, sometimes raise your voice or lower your voice. And of course, quite often, verbal communication can be face-to-face or telephone communication or radio, TV, or like what I'm doing right now is one-way communication. So let's move on to the next. Next slide. One more slide. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about non-verbal communication. I want to just share this here. It's quite interesting. When I used to be in Philippines, I used to ask, let's say somebody, I say, let's say we're in a room, right? And I'm having, in a pantry, I'm having a coffee and I wanted sugar. So I asked the person next to me, say, where can I have sugar? And all they do is they're communicating with me. But do you know, I think this is very peculiar to Filipino culture. They use their lips to communicate. I don't know, I can't do it, right? They actually point using the lips. You all understand what I'm talking about, right? The lip, and then sometimes they use the eyebrow to communicate yes or no. So these are all non-verbal communication. Now, of course, you being a Filipino, you would understand, another Filipino understand. But me being a foreigner, I could not understand. So I was wondering, why am I asking this person a question and they are not responding? So to me, I could have taken that as very, this person is being rude to me, right? But actually, they are communicating, but they forget that me as a foreigner will not understand the non-verbal communication. So when we are dealing with foreigners, try to be as communicative with words, right? So communicate through, so when you're communicating non-verbal, it can be sending and receiving wordless cues, and it could be eye contact, it could be gestures, it could be touch, or voice, what we call paralanguage. Paralanguage is intonation, how you say it softly, for example, if you told a lady, right, husband telling a wife, right, I love you, it's not the same as I love you, right? It's the same thing, the same voice, right? Same, person speaking, but the tone, right? That we call paralanguage. So when we communicate, we need to be conscious of how we communicate. Can we go to the next slide? Now, eye contact, very interesting, right? Now, in Singapore's context, eye contact, when you look at somebody an extensive time, is considered offensive and rude, right? In some cultures, looking people in the eye is actually honesty. It's straightforwardness. That means you're being warm, right? But in Singapore, it's a no-no, right? Especially if you are a man, you look at another man, do not have extended eye contact. In Singapore's context, extended eye contact is a challenge. Say, you want to fight? That's what it basically means, right? You're actually saying, do you want to fight with me? So extensive eye contact can be misunderstood. Similarly, if a guy looks at a girl extensively eye contact, it can be also be perceived as sexual harassment, right? So we need to understand, right? But in a lot of cultures, eye contact is beautiful. Hey, this person is engaging me. For myself, as a lecturer, when I'm talking to my students, right, as a professor, I make eye contact and I expect my student to look at me. If they don't, I get annoyed because it seems like they're avoiding, right? So eye contact is a form of communication. Let's move on. Next slide. Now, actually, I already covered this. Let's move on to the next slide. Gestures, very, very important, right? The movement of a part of the body, especially, your hand, it's the idea of expressing. I'm sure you guys know what this means, right? And this and down and whatnot, right? Now, the thing is, this same, I would say, hand gestures has different meanings in different cultures in different societies. Let's look at it at the next slide. Yeah, next slide. Now, look at this, the same expression like this, right? In Egypt, it means be patient. In Italy, what do you mean? All right. In Greece, that's just perfect. The same thing, this, all right, it means different thing. I do not know what it means in Philippines, but in Singapore, this means, you know what this means? It means give me some time. All right. I want, 5 minutes, right? That's what it means, right? So again, you need to understand, right? Which language. Dr. Ong, what does this mean in Philippines?
In the Philippines, it means okay.
Okay, right. Fantastic, right?
Transaction close.
In Italy, I must say this, I'm going to be careful how I say this. In Italy, this means, for those who understand, I hope not many people understand, it means di caso vici. Di caso vici means, what the blank are you talking about, right? That's what in Italy it means. So,
or drastically, they say, okay, give me money.
yeah, I think in South Asia, meaning India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, this means money, right?
Yes, money.
When you do this, it means how much. That's what it means. How much? You just do that. How much? Yeah.
What's my commission?
Yeah, commission. Now we understand. Yeah. So moving on to the next slide. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide. Right. Now, touch. Touch is very, very interesting, right? I know that the Filipinos are basically more gregarious. They're more tactile. They touch, they hug, and all that, which is great. Personally, I have an issue because I am tactile. But in business, in certain countries, you need to be tactile. In certain countries, you can't be. Now, because I travel quite extensively, I'm very careful. I always do not, make the first touch, right? But sometimes when you do that, people look upon you as being aloof. You don't want to relate. Okay. So now I'm just talking about, for example, in Hinduism and Islam, again, touching with the left hand is very offensive. So when you see, a Hindu or a Islam, okay, you can't tell, but less generally speaking, Indian and people of the Arabic faith, right? Never touch them with your left hand. It's always right hand. Left hand is very insulting, right? For different reasons. In the South Indian culture, I'm not talking about Singapore. I'm talking about in India. Left hand used for things which are basically they don't have toilet paper, right? So when wash hand, they use the left hand, right, to wash with water and all that. And the right hand is used for eating food, right? So right hand means a lot, right? So now the other thing about touch, right? In different cultures, it means different thing. I recall I was once in Italy, and I was there on a business deal. I met a friend of mine, and then he brought me to his home. And his mother, she saw me and she started kissing me 3 times, and I'm meeting her for the first time. And to me, this friend of mine told me that means that there's acceptance for them to accept you. Now, I could have actually, if I had taken one step back, that's like rejecting. So we need to be able to understand what touch means to different people. In Singapore's context, generally speaking, when you first meet them, all right, you do not hug them straight away in Singapore's context. I'm not too sure in Philippines. What is it like in Philippines, Dr. Ong? Can you hug each other when you first meet them? Your mic is off, Dr. Ong.
It's off.
Okay,
Okay.
now it's on. Yeah.
Well, in the Philippines, we are a little bit very conservative on that, but more in modern society, we can just kiss on the left cheek or
Right.
on the right cheek, saying that you are a good friend of mine.
Yes, yeah.
Every time greetings, every time we meet people, we either shake hands or we do a what we call in the Philippines beso beso, cheek to cheek.
Ah, nice. Right. That's very warm, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like here in
To show that
Singapore's
you're very
context-
close to the guy. You're close
Right,
to
yeah.
the woman, actually.
Yeah, woman.
For
Yeah,
a
in
guy,
Singapore,
you shake hands. For a woman, you do a little bit of, not necessarily kissing, but putting your cheek on her cheek, something like that.
right, yeah. In Singapore, we only do that with people we are very close to. When you first meet them, it's always handshake. Now, what's interesting is that I told you guys I've done business in 42 different countries. when I used to do business in Iraq, all right, interesting, Iraq, and when I meet them first time, after the second time I meet them, right, guys against guys, I'm a guy, right, I'm a straight guy. Make it very clear, I'm a straight guy. I like women, right? But having said that, when I meet the other guy, he's also a married guy. When he sees me, he actually kisses me 3 times on the cheeks. Kiss, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, yeah,
You,
yeah,
Adrian, my experience when I was in Saudi Arabia, because
yeah,
I normally go on a tour in Saudi Arabia,
right.
mostly supervising people during my younger years.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy, it's true, guy kisses the guy.
Yes.
If the kiss is on the left cheek, it means
Mm-hmm.
hello. But
Okay.
if you're very intimate, you're very close friend, they kiss you on the left and on the right.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. So that happened to me. So at first I was a bit uncomfortable. Then I realized that, hey, it's an honor for the guy to kiss you on both cheeks. Yeah. So again, we're talking about kissing. Different cultures take it differently. But coming back to Singapore, if you guys come into Singapore, handshake is the safest thing to do. Right. So moving on. Next slide. Okay, now this is interesting. Colors. Colors also communicate. What kind of clothes we wear also communicate, right? So now a single color can have different meanings in different cultures, right? In Asia, for example, orange is positive, spiritually enlightened, a life affirm color. For example, the Buddhists, right? Every Buddhist country, they always have the orange, chevron clothes, right? In US, it's the color of road hazards. If you see anything road hazards, always orange color, right? Traffic delays, orange color. Fast food restaurants, or orange color, right? And even traffic lights, amber, all right, warning, slow down, right? So whereas green is considered to be a traditional color for Islam. In Singapore, generally speaking, Muslims during the Ramadan, the what we call the Il-Fitri, all right, you'll see lots of green everywhere in Singapore. So green is a favorite color, at least in Singapore for the Muslims, right? Can we go to the next slide? Now, again, green in Ireland is related to St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day, everybody wears green. And of course, I think white bridal outfit is natural for most societies. Interestingly, China, the bright colored gifts are associated with death, but also more right now, blue color, yeah? More right now is black. When you wear black, it also is very somber. I think that's, quite general in most cultures. So let's move right along. Next slide. Right. Now, clothing, I think, generally speaking, traditional clothing is an important part of, region's history and identity. So, for example, in Philippines, you wear the the barong, right? Am I correct? Barong, that's the word I believe you call it, right? And I like it, all right? In fact, I have a couple of them I bought, I brought back to Singapore. And, men tend not to wear, suit jackets and ties, in hot countries. Same with Singapore. Generally speaking, in Singapore, we are moving away from the tie culture. So even for me, when I go to school, I don't wear tie anymore. Previously, we need to wear long sleeve shirts, tie, but we're moving away from that. So the traditional dress for an Indian woman, I'm sure it's the same. They call it a sari. It covers everything, right? And then, I think I would like to hear a little bit about traditional clothes in Philippines, Dr. EG. Maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Adrian, mostly now for
Mm-hmm.
men,
Mm-hmm.
like you and me,
Yeah.
we used to wear ties, no?
Yes.
On,
Yes.
formal or meetings or
Right.
things like that. However, today we have a coat. We don't wear tie anymore. No more
Exactly. That's
tie.
right. Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like in Singapore. But in Singapore, you don't normally wear suit or
You don't.
jacket.
No, we
You
don't.
have a tie. You have a tie.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's right. Yeah. So that's
uh,
right. So
but with us
so
in the Philippines, we have a suit but no
yeah.
tie.
Yes, yeah. So again, but having said that, if we are going for a high level business meeting, then we will wear proper. For example, if I am meeting a partner from a university, then I would wear traditional clothes. Yeah. So now, let's move to the next slide. I don't want to focus too much on clothing, right? This is very clear. Yeah. In some countries you can wear whatever you want. In other countries, you need to be conservatively dressed. Now, in Singapore, generally speaking, there is a greater trend for the Muslims especially, to cover up more and more. But the way they cover up is quite trendy. They cover yet they show. All right. So that's another thing altogether, which I don't want to go there because it can be quite sensitive. Can we go to the next slide? Again, to some, this is very attractive. To others, it's like cruel, right? Especially the bead on the neck, right? The beadwork, right? It seems very cruel, but in their culture, all right, in the Maasai culture, it's actually quite beautiful and they like it. Again, they're communicating, right, with their clothes. Okay, next slide. Greetings. This is, I think, very important. We all need to be aware of that. How, basically, I mean, we all know in the Japanese culture, bow, is a form of greeting. All right. In the Western culture, it's always a handshake. In Singapore, generally speaking, it's a handshake. All right. Whereas the Latinos are more accustomed to physical contact. I told you about this Italian family I met. All right. There's a lot of touching. All right. There are a lot of tactile. So even people who know each other only slightly may embrace when greeting. Now, for me, I had that problem because once I meet you the first time, second time I meet you, I tend to hug you because of that's how I was brought up. Because I come from a family where we are very tactile. We always hug and kiss. Until today, when I see my nephews and nieces, I actually hug them and I kiss them, regardless how old they are. Some of them are already parents, but I still hug them and kiss them. But then again, we need to be mindful. In Singapore, we don't generally do that. A small community which does that, but when we see, the best thing to do is handshake, right? So whereas people from France, Spain, Italy, all right, they always kiss each other on both cheeks, as what Dr. E.G. shared earlier, right? Now the Indians is a bit different, all right. What they normally do is, handshake. I mean, what we call the namaste, all right. They collide their hands together. Now this became very popular 3 years ago. You know why? Because of COVID. Because of COVID, nobody wanted a handshake. They do this. This is very respectful. You do that like, whoa, I'm showing you. It actually means I bow to you. All right. This is, they call it the namaste. The next slide will show you some pictures. All right. Can we go to the next slide? Right. You see that on the extreme top right, the Japanese, bowing, the Indian, both the hands claps, and then the French kissing on both cheeks, and the, Italians, hugging each other. Yeah. Let's go on to the next slide. Now, culture conflicts at workplace is very, very important. I think I'll just skip this because we're going to talk more on workplace. Let's move on. Next slide. Next slide. Again, this is all work related, yeah. So I'm going to just skip this. Okay. Now this is important. All right. Blocks to communication. When you talk about communication, right, there's certain things which affects how we communicate. One of the things is called ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism, right, talks about you, all right? It's always ethno is in you, ethno, and centrism is all about you, and everything centered around you. So it's my way is the best way, all right? And because of that, it creates some kind of problem, right? Discrimination, sometimes consciously, unconsciously, we also discriminate. We can discriminate against a particular group, all right? Your language, your education, or the worst thing is stereotyping, which happens quite a lot. We assume, all right, even in Singapore, we assume that, all, for example, all Indonesians, talk a particular style. All Filipinos, are, of this particular, I would say language ability, all right? Or all Indians are, so because of all this, we stereotype, and these can be cultural blocks, right? So what I want to just focus upon is this ethnocentrism. Can we go to the next slide? Now, I will just talk about this ethnocentrism first before I go any further. Now, ethnocentrism is to think that yours is the only way to do this, and this can be a major issue. I'll just share a little bit about Americans, right? Americans are one of the biggest ethnocentric group of people. They think the whole world revolves around them. I'll give you a simple example. For those of you who play baseball, you would know that America has what they call World Series. Yeah. Now, baseball, American World Series. Now, it's called World Series, yeah. But when you look at it, right, other than America, is there any other country participating in the World Series? No. Because for America, their world is America and nothing else, right? So that comes from ethnocentrism. So you always think you are better. Because you have that kind of attitude, it's very difficult, it becomes a problem when you communicate with others, yeah. Now, cultural blindness is sometimes we don't see things for what they are. We can't see it, right? There's, you don't worry about things, and you don't care about other people's culture. And of course, cultural imposition is that, it's come from the ethnocentrism I told you earlier. We think we know better, so we try to impose our values on you. And then, of course, the tone difference I mentioned earlier, how we talk, right? So certain cultures are more generous, more kind, whereas in, for example, in Singapore, we tend to be quite rude sometimes. I must admit and acknowledge that. But we need to move from there to be able to understand why. So I mean, as a Filipino, you might come to Singapore and say, why are they so rude? But they're not being rude. They're trying to cut short their communication. Let's move on. Next slide. Okay, how can we overcome cross-cultural problems? Basically, the reverse of what I talked about. Overcome ethnocentrism. That means try to be more inclusive of other people. Recognize differences in how we view things, right? Our culture. Remove language barriers. Try to talk in a language which everybody understands. Don't use Singlish or Taglish. Speak in a proper English where everybody understands, right? And speak and write clearly. So how we communicate also affects, right? And respect style preferences. I might want to speak a particular way. You might want to speak a particular way. But the important thing is to listen carefully. Let's move on to the next slide. I'm going to try to wrap this up as quickly as possible. Okay, I'm guilty of this. The first part, slow down. I tend to talk very fast because right now I'm conscious of time. So I tend to talk very fast, But when we are in a different culture, let's slow things down. Slow down and talk slowly. And the other important thing is, right, to avoid negative questions. When you ask a question, try to make the question more positive. Like instead of asking, like, do you want this? All right. The chance that the person can say no. Would you say, would you like, 2 pieces of this? Then the person say 1 or 2. So it's more positive kind of response. The same way, when you are dealing, I'm talking about real estate, instead of saying, can I show you something? Say, I have this particular apartment to show you, another apartment to show you. Of these 2 apartments, which do you think you would like to go? So it's a very positive kind of, question to ask, not negative, so, you try to put it that way, right? And I'm going to move on to the next slide. Next one. I'm conscious of time. So this is a very short video, which I want you guys to watch and appreciate a little bit about how Singaporeans communicate. And these are 2 British who came to Singapore and learned. Okay.
Singlish is the short term for Singapore English, and it's a mixture of English words with borrowed words from Malay, Hokkien, Cantonese, Mandarin, other Chinese languages, as well as Tamil from southern India.
Yeah, and as Sam just said, it does take its grammar from a lot of regional languages, and it does away with most prepositions, verb conjugations, and even plural words.
Plus, the words can have multiple meanings, which makes it all the more difficult for foreigners like me.
Yeah, and previously on our channel, we did touch on our top 10 favorite Singlish words. So today we're following up with our top 10 favorite Singapore phrases. But before we get into it, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Right, let's get into it.
So number 1, in no particular order, don't play. So this interesting phrase basically means don't mess around with me. If you want someone to take something seriously and to stop fooling around, you say don't play.
Yeah, and it was actually popularized by Gurmit Singh's Phua Chu Kang character in the 90s. And it was even used by government Singapore ads at the beginning of the pandemic, telling people, take it seriously, wear a mask and wash your hands. Number 2 on our list is die must try. So what does it mean? Well, we know that Singaporeans are truly passionate about food. So this is very much a food-related phrase. And it just basically means it's so good, you gotta try it no matter what. So a good example of this is when we had laksa at 928 in Yishun. Die must try. It's so good, you won't regret it, even if it costs you your life.
Yeah, but there are variations. So there's die must have or die must buy. I really like die must buy because when we go abroad, there are things cheaper than they are in Singapore. So, for example, we went to New York in 2019. There were Marc Jacob bags that Rianne wanted for her birthday. I went to Changi, it was like $400 duty free. Went to New Jersey, New York, they're about $90 each. So it's like, die, must buy, we got two. Number 3 on the list, talk cock. Now get your mind out of the gutter, because this isn't what you think. This phrase actually comes from 18th century English. It's about untruths, and it originates from the phrase cock and bull story. But when used in Singlish, it's implying that the person who is speaking isn't saying anything useful, or they're talking nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's actually a longer version of this phrase, which is talk, cock, sing song, which means when friends get together, catch up, and spread a little gossip.
Who doesn't like to gossip?
Coming in at number 4 is walawe. So this is a phrase which is actually used to show surprise or disbelief. So a good example of this is, if there's a really good bargain and your flight is like dirt cheap or something like that, not that there are many flights going for dirt cheap these days, then you'd be like, oh my gosh, 70% off, walawe. So yeah, something that's kind of a surprise or disbelief.
Number 5, blur like sotong. So this phrase is used to describe someone who is always confused. Now, we used to live in Malaysia about 5 years ago, and we used to love...
Okay, maybe we stop the video here.
Sotong is...
Okay, now I want to stop the video because it's taking quite a bit of time. I want to just go on to the next part, which I think is quite important. So I'm going to go very quickly to why I'm sharing all this about being able to communicate in different languages. The next slide. Now, for those who are studying in school, I'm sure you've studied this particular matrix called Ainsworth matrix, right? So now the Ainsworth matrix, again, I'm getting into my professor mode right now. We have different ways of going to business. One is a market penetration. So I'm trying to relate it in context of what Mindy shared earlier. Market penetration is basically selling your property in where you are. If you're in Manila, selling in Manila, and you got penetrate in the market and sell all your properties there, right? Then, of course, the other option is your product development. You stay in Manila, but instead of selling maybe an apartment, you want to start selling a commercial property. So, it's going to a different product, but in the same market itself, right? So the third option is what we call market development. I'll come to that shortly. Diversification is to sell something completely different, not real estate, and in a different country. Now, going back to option 2, which is market development, you still sell the same property, but instead of selling it in Manila, you sell it overseas. Now, that is the reason why I'm here to talk a little bit about that. And it's very much ties in with what Mindy said in her point number 4. If you guys remember, her point number 4 was foreigners, all right? So now, earlier, I also showed you guys about a slide about Singaporeans, Filipinos working in Singapore. 60% are professionals. Now, these people are actually ready market. They know the Filipino market, what the business, what the reality business is like there. And here you can target them. But I'm saying don't limit yourself to that, right? And and the reason why I share a little bit about Singaporeans is because language and how to communicate with them is because I want you to reach out to the Singaporean market. Let's look at the second slide, which would be of interest to all of you who are thinking of the Singapore market. Now, Singapore recently basically adjusted what we call the buyer's stamp duty. In Singapore, I'm not sure whether you can magnify this particular slide so the rest can see it. Is there any way of making this slide bigger? Okay, never mind. We stick to that, right? Now, in Singapore, basically, when you buy a second property, you have to pay an additional stamp duty of 12%. 12% is very, very expensive. Now, so a lot of Singaporeans cannot afford, all right, to pay this additional amount because they already have one property. So a lot of them resort to buying property overseas. Now, when they buy overseas, they are not subject to this additional 12% duty. Now, generally speaking, in Singapore's context, a typical simple apartment, I'm not talking about a big apartment, a simple apartment costs about $2 to $3 million Sing, all right? So let's say 2.5 2.7 US million dollars. So can you imagine 12% of that? They got to pay upfront. So that means, instead of doing that, with that 12%, they actually can put as, as what Mindy says it, monthly investment, right? So I'm using words which Mindy used earlier, monthly investment into a property in Philippines. So what I'm trying to say, right, is going back to the in-store matrix, right? There's one, two, three, four. I want you to go to the section number 2, which talks about, selling your Filipino property, but in a new market. That means in the Singaporean market. Don't limit it to the Filipinos in Singapore who are filthy rich compared to Philippines. They get money to buy, but there are also lots of Singaporeans who have lots of money, but they cannot afford, not that they cannot, they don't want to spend another $12,000 buying another property. So instead, what do? They basically look at what they can do is they can go further. Now, I want to end on this particular slide, all right? I want to encourage you guys to sell some more. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, going back to communication. Never underestimate the importance of the local language. In Egypt, what it means, be punctual. In Italy, what you're talking about, English, that's perfect. The very same thing, right? So it's important how we communicate. And I want to encourage you guys to not limit yourself to just Philippines. Come here to Singapore, sell your product. There is a market here. Can we go to the next slide? No, this is something which is important. Today, all right, as citizens in today's world, the global world, we have a responsibility to develop our cultural intelligence and cultural competence so as to live fully in a global environment. Because we're no longer talking about, Filipino Center for Entrepreneurship, but it's a Asia Center for Entrepreneurship and Real Estate. So with that, I want to say, I'll go to the next slide. I'll say thank you very much, right? I believe you can go to the next slide, right? Oh, one more. Okay, I got one more quote, right? Any communication, which you guys are marketing professional, need cross-cultural research and communication skills to be able to succeed in the future. So that is my last point I want to get across to you guys, right? Appreciate cross-cultural research. Do the research before you go out, right? And if you're coming in Singapore, contact Dr. EG, all right? And he will link you up with me, and Dr. EG and I will definitely try to help you guys, right? With that, I want to say thank you very much. I would say salamat, and
salamat. Very well said. We now have an overload of information from cross-cultural, cross-border communication and networking. The idea for real estate practitioners is that after honing their skills domestically, they want to go abroad. They want to sell abroad.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of Filipinos, that you said, there are more than 200,000 Filipinos in Singapore. And
Yes,
they are really, they're really, one of the, I think, priorities of a Filipino overseas worker is to be able to offer a very good abode or a very good house and lot or a condominium for their loved ones, no? And that is an opportunity for them to go in Singapore or any other country of their choice so that they can really develop a cross-border communication and networking in the real estate practice. So with that, I can see that they have a lot of a heart sign, and very nice, very informative. And Adrian, thank you so much for
thank you.
giving that. Let me give you a certificate. A certificate
Thank you, sir.
to you. Mr. Adrian, soon to be Dr. Adrian Raj Angappan, Academic Director, AMITY Global Institute, Singapore. For guesting with us in our program and expounding his insights on the topic cross-border communication and networking in real estate. Given today, in the year of our Lord, during our Christmas presentation, and we're so happy to have you in our program. Should I say, Dr. Adrian? We are so happy to have you here in our program, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope that we can get more students going to Singapore on a, should I say, internship program in real estate. Adrian?
Amen. Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you.
So a blessed Christmas.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless.
you so much. And you can stay because there are a lot of things happening after this, no?
Okay, sure.
You stay on
Alright.
the line. Yes, thank you so much. You're right. Marami pong salamat. I think that was an overload of information on cross-border communication, how to do this, how to do that, what to do, what to affect. We all know that wherever we go out of the country, we are a little bit worried, no? We are a little bit, we have a qualms in our stomach saying that, what are we going to do? Oh, well, perhaps, and these things, the lecture of Adrian would enlighten us and will give us a bit of information on what to do whenever we go cross-border. We go cross-border, cross-cultural, should I say, influences that we have to be confronted with. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Adrian. Now, let me also greet Arnie, our professor, Arin Meghan Conchina from the Assessor's Office of Mandaue City in Cebu City. Cebu, hello, how are you? And to my idol, very good friend of mine, Kate Dalaga Garcia. Hello, Kate. Talaga din naman. Of course, si Melba Yanson Ibanez ay nandito din. Kate, makita tayo. I know that you have a project in Baguio. I have a lot of Rolands to give you. Okay? And also would like to say hello in the academic side. My good friend from ICCT Colleges, the honor, Mr. William Ko, and Dr. William Ko and Dr. Vivian Ko of ICCT College, and likewise from Gardner College, a good friend of mine, Mr. Boon Ong Choco, the president, and of course, the marketing director, Glenn Makatiang. Yes, maraming po salamat. And to all the academic friends of ours, si, Dr. Conrad Inigo, the chairman and president of PACUCOA. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to also to our good friend from Olpu, Dr. Mida Samaniego, Dr. Mida Samaniego. Also to my committee members in the Education Committee of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Wow, maligayang Pasko po sa inyong lahat. Okay, now we move on to the greetings. Okay.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2024 to Professor Dr. Ong, my great friend from the Philippines. All the best to you and your students. I believe that if you follow Dr. Ong, your real estate profession will be a lot progress because he will be the great professor for us. I hope all our Filipino students of Dr. Ong will have a great progress in the year 2024. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Good morning, real estate, and to all of us fans of Dr. E.G. May you all have the merriest Christmas and the happiest New Year. To our dear students, continue to learn many approaches and innovations, but with the ethical spirit. God bless us all.
Doc E.G. Bon Natale! Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for all your support to many OFWs all over the world from French Revo community. Bon Natale from Milan, Italy.
Hello everyone to all the viewers of It's Doc E.G. Live Usapang, Lupa at Negosyo, to all the viewers and the students of Doc E.G. Merry Christmas and maybe the year ahead full of contentment and joy. Greetings from one of your students from Bicol region. Merry Christmas.
Hello and Merry Christmas Christmas to everyone. Hello to all the viewers of Doc EG Live. I wish to congratulate our first PRB's chairman, Dr. Eduardo G. Ong, for sharing his talent and the generosity of sharing his time and hardworking in all the organization he used to be with. Yesterday, we used to witness the awarding given by the PCAAE named ang Susi 2023, and the awards were given to Piabsi, which happened that he is one of the top officers as chairman, and of course the Presby being the chairman of the board. I just want to congratulate Dr. E.G. Ong being an educator for so many years that we used to work together, and now he is a two-term president given by the PRACTI Education and Academic Members Committee. So we are welcoming all educators to join us for the collaboration, not only the ASEAN but the European as well. And of course, I wish to congratulate all the Presby officers and members who used to work with us during the Cebu ASEAN Real Estate Summit. Congratulations to all, at napatunayan natin we are number one. Of course, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Ong. Good morning, Real Estate. Congratulations as ang Susi 2023 awardee for Piabsi and Presby. As well as congratulations incoming two-term president for Piabsi Education and Academic Members Committee. We are very proud of you. Lalo kapasan ng patnubayan ng buong may kapal for your success and incoming success. Kaya, on this Yuletide season, on behalf of my family, I would like to greet you a Merry Christmas, and may the spirit of true Christmas filled with joy, love, giving and forgiving, and sharing to one another be upon us all. Magandang umaga at mabuhay ka, Chairman Ong. Thank you and amen.
Hi, good evening. Hi, Doc E.G. I would like to congratulate you for another award that you were able to get. Talaga nang walang kasawa-sawa silang mag-award sa iyo. This time it's ang Susi 2023 for Piabsi and Presby. I'd like also to congratulate you for being an incoming 2-year term President for Piabsi Education Academic Members Committee. It seems na talagang here and there and everywhere, lagi kang merong award. Hindi na yan katakataka, but I'm sure you garnered it because you really deserve it. I'd like to say also a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all your students I know. And thank you nga pala, Doc E.G., your UST management, management class was able to give to Warm Blanket for a cause for 10,000. Now I'm arranging for 30 families. Hopefully, we're able to give something that would commemorate the yung equal the amount, and we're able to give siguro sa Santa Rosa. I don't know yet, but I will be slating it for 26th of December. And hopefully I will be able to give you copies of pictures and everything. I'd like to thank them for extending help to those people who are impoverished Alam mo naman ngayon sa mga panahon ngayon, a lot of people are really hard up. And I thank your class being able to respond quickly for this Christmas season. Hopefully, you'll able to have a Merry Christmas. I know you will. You've been a lot of an inspiration to other people, academically, and so many things has gone through their lives because of you. You've got a long, many years to come pa siya. So I think a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year is really awaits you. I wish you the best of everything, and hopefully we'll able to see each other soon. Sige, bye! Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Doc Ichi, congratulations as the Angsusi 2023 awardee for PRESP and FIAPSI. Congratulations again as the incoming two-term president of FIAPSI Education and Academic Members Committee. Thank you, Doc Ichi, for inspiring all of us in the real estate industry. Continue to be a blessing to everyone who knows you. Merry Christmas, Doc Ichi. Bye!
Hello, happy holiday, Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much for the greetings, Moby. Okay, so maraming salamat. This Christmas season, we are organizing our charity program, no? We are in a part of our CSR of SRE, and we request you to at least share your bounty, share a gift to our less fortunate brethren or less fortunate brothers in the community. So through the help of Glory C, we are requesting you for some little bit of donations, goodies in kind or in cash, so that we can give during, and we can make their Christmas very merry and the New Year very prosperous. No? Magkonting kwan lang po para makapagbigay tayo ng kasiyahan sa lahat ng ating mga kababayang na medyo kapos sa kanilang buhay. At remember, send gifts and goodies online, SRE Charity Program. Ito po ang QR code, no? At bigay lang po kayo, kahit na any amount would do, we'll share it to them, to the to the less fortunate brothers and sisters in our community. Thank you. Okay, so okay, Moby. All right, so we'll have some greetings more, but before that, let's move on to the other commercials. Okay, alaga din naman, nandito yung aking kaibigan, si Catherine Kate Dalaga Garcia, na napakagandang, talagang dalaga. You know why? She is using Portier Placenta. Kung po yan po ang nagpapabata kay Kate at sa akin. Kita niyo naman, I am already a senior citizen, but look at me. Okay, so remember, Portier through Catherine Kate Dalaga Garcia. Yeah, kita mo naman siya, dalaga talaga, no? So, kung po yan, once a day, twice a day, so that can make your life so happy and you look so young. Yan po, Stem Cell Ultimate Healthcare. Portier by Kate Dalaga prevents aging. Yan, okay? Okay, so, build your future and as your qualifications, enroll at ACE, Asian Center of Entrepreneurship and Real Estate. Yeah. Okay, Well, andito si Moby. Meron siyang greetings mamaya, no? Moby, Arkista, and Dailin. Arkista, meron silang napakagandang agritourism resort, no? My New Life. Yan. Kaya
Hello, Doc Easy. Happy birthday and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, we're at the resort. Super hangin.
Sobrang hangin. Yeah, so we wish you a happy birthday and we have a wonderful, happy and worry-free birthday.
And super many more happy and blessed and abundant birthdays to come. Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy
See you
birthday,
soon.
Merry Christmas. Mwah.
Merry Christmas. Hello, Doc Easy.
yan talaga si Atty. Moby, ha? Nandito siya. So nakita niya, Atty. Moby and Dailin. Yeah, My New Life Agritourism Resort. Ganda yan. Punta kami dyan. Napunta na ako actually. Then we would like to go back there. And for all of you out there who would want to really see it, please come. Join us. Join the fun. No? And enjoy the holidays there in My New Life Agritourism should I say, resort. Ganda yan. Okay? Meron tayong bagong TikTok program. So, okay, if you have the time, please patronize or look and see on our HDocEG Live TikTok program. Then, yan po, then you can see it. Nandiyan ang QR code. Then you can check on the TikTok. Alam niyo naman, umuuso tayo, no? TikTok. Okay. Now, we are sponsoring having a Thailand trip, educational tour in Thailand on March 7 to 10, 2024. If you're interested, we'll try to explore real estate opportunities and global business immersion and networking. So Thailand, March 7 to 10. Okay. Please come and join us. Okay. All right. So we now cordially inviting you to our ASRE year-end party. We have a lot of raffles, we have a lot of giveaways, and a lot of goodies that are awaiting. It's also a recognition night for those who have served and those who have contributed to the ASRE costs or to the ASRE program at the Philippine Columbian December 27, 2023, 5:30 p.m. See you there. We will now go to the finale of our episode, and that is the quote of the week. Your network is your net worth. In other words, what you do, what you really move on, then that is going to be your asset or your network. Okay? So, some more greetings, but before I go, I would like to greet everybody a Merry Christmas. Next Friday, we'll Okay, so next Friday, watch for it. Next Friday, we'll have our New Year's presentation. We'll have more greetings to come. Thank you so much. And on behalf of my team, headed by Ellen, by Mitch, by Erica, and also by Yachi and Tom, and then thank you so much for being with us this Christmas season. Maraming po salamat and stay healthy. Well, be good and enjoy the holiday. See ya!
Greetings from the City of Pines, Baguio City. This is Roseanne, CRB Roseanne Artabora, past president of Rebap Baguio Benguet Chapter, wishing Usapang Lupa, hosted by Dr. E.G. Ong, a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous, happy 2024.
Hello, Doc Easy.
Sir EG, happy
birthday and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, we're at the resort. Super hangin.
Super hangin. Yeah, so we wish you a happy birthday and we have a wonderful, happy, and worry-free birthday.
And super many more happy and blessed and abundant birthdays to come. Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy
See you
birthday.
soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good morning, real estate. I'm now here in Bangkok, Thailand at the beautiful Buddhist temple here at my back. Look at that. It's a 24-star. So, take a look. Very, very nice.
Andrew sa pamalan mo. Andrew sa pamalan mo.
ho, 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 ho!
Merry Christmas! Welcome to this beautiful city of Baguio. We are here in Manor Hotel. You can see a lot of glittering lights to really make it look like Christmas. You know, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas. President of CREBA, or the Chambers of CREBA, or the Chambers of
Ang hanap mo ay institusyong nagtuturo paano makatutungo buhay na gusto mo. Bakit di masubukan SRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay maasenso, tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay maasenso. Ang iyong pangarap, gustong malasap, dapat kang magsikap para sa hinaharap. Bakit di mo subukan, SRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso. Ang hanap mo ay institusyong nagtuturo kung paano makatutungo buhay na gusto mo. Bakit di mo subukan, SRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. Sorry ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso.
Thank you for watching the back.
Ako ay institusyong nagtuturo paano makatutungo buhay na gusto mo. Bakit di mo subukan, SRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay maasenso, tara na, dito tayo. SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso. Ang iyong pangarap, gustong malasap. Dapat kang magsikap para sa hinaharap. Bakit di mo subukan, SRE pag-aralan mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo. SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso. Kung ang hanap mo ay institusyong nagtuturo kung paano makatutungo buhay na gusto mo. Bakit di mo subukan, SRE pag-aralan, mga gustong malaman para sa kinabukasan. Tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara na, dito tayo, SRE ang panalo, hindi ka talo dito. Buhay ay aasenso, tara